This is Sara Hartman, and you're listening to Rocket Night.
Yeah, are you ready? Hey, tonight I'm gonna take you on a little trip. We're going down south by the mighty Mississippi. I'm gonna take you to a place where lights never dim. Bring your mother, your brother, and your best friend. I'm gonna show you where they dance out in the street. They'll tell you all about your body heat. Not gonna talk about it, just gonna do it. Get on down if you feel up good. Now, get on down.
This is Anita Stewart, and I am reporting for Rocket Night, and yes, she rocks. And today I'm speaking with Sara Hartman, who is currently traveling. She's in Portland tonight. And I understand you're in D.C. in a couple of nights, and then New York, and then you're back to Europe, right?
Oh yeah. It's a roller coaster, but it's so awesome to be back in the States. I can't even stress enough how amazing it is.
Now you were in
home, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, you were in Boston on Mother's Day, and I just happened to see a video that was recorded on a phone. David Hartman, was that your proud father or somebody else or maybe another relative?
You know, that is my biggest fan. It's my grandfather, actually. They drove up from Long Island to catch the show.
Yeah, he posted it to YouTube, so I actually just watched it. It was 2 minutes of one of the songs you were doing, and I thought, well, that's sweet.
Oh yeah, they're really, really proud.
So I was looking at a couple of other interviews that you had done, and you had said that Jack Garrett and Alan Raymond were two artists that you follow, that you specifically look to for inspiration. Why those two artists, and what other artists inspire your songwriting?
Oh, this is a good question. Let me step out of the van real quick. Hey, Alan Raymond, I just found out about him, actually. I saw his set. He played after me at South by Southwest, and
okay.
I just was transfixed. He drank red wine on stage, which I thought was very, very, very nice. and also Jack Garrett, I think he's doing some fascinating things rhythmically. But let's see. I mean, I am also, if you've read other interviews with me, you know that I have a Patti Smith addiction. It's quite serious.
Actually, she's one of my favorites, and I was at the concert in Tampa when she fell off the stage some years ago.
Oh.
And she really injured herself, but it was a brilliant concert, and I've always been an admirer of her songwriting. So is that what you're looking at when you look at her past work, is just how she crafts her songs? Yes,
and how she is so unabashedly herself. I guess that, if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
I caught her at the Tempodrome in Berlin in August, and I was I was speechless. I think she was so vulnerable but so powerful, and so I just love her, and I think she is saying what she feels, and she's not ashamed of it, and I really. Yeah, that's ultimately what I would hope to do with my music as well. Strength and vulnerability, I suppose, is the biggest thing, though.
Right. Now, what are you plugging into right now? What artists, what do you have in your CD player or on Spotify right at the moment?
Oh, let's see. Jack and Alan are big. What do I have? Oh, Bibi Borelli. Do you know Bibi Borelli?
I have not heard of that artist.
She is actually out of Berlin. That's how I found out about her. But she wrote "Bitch Better Have My Money" by Rihanna.
Oh yeah, I know that
she
song.
She wrote it, and she recently came out with an EP, and its attitude is just seeping out of her pores. And I just think she's very, very, very interesting. I think she's really, really cool as well. She's been on repeat, to be honest.
Well, that's one artist I'm going to have to check out then. Now, we've done some research on you here at Rocket Night, and we know that you play a lot of instruments, and you have, of course, this wonderful background living in Long Island, and you did a lot of, you really paid your dues at a very young age, playing in some of these bars, restaurants, coffee houses. How many instruments do you play?
Oh, let's see if I have to count. Well, I started on drums. That's one, and then I have like a basic understanding of probably 5, 6.
Okay.
But I think for me it's more about like, but I don't know how to like technically play them. Like I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I have tape on the back of my guitar so that I can see where the frets are. Because it's I probably shouldn't be saying that I don't know how to play these instruments, but I mean, I have the basic understanding, but it's mostly feeling with me. But I just love musical instruments. I dabbled in the trombone for a little while. My parents were not very happy about that. It's very loud and doesn't sound very good when you start to learn.
Right.
But, yeah.
And you played the bass. You played bass, right?
Oh yeah. That was in my first band. I played the bass.
Now, what guitars do you usually like to play? What model make?
I fell in love with the Jazzmaster while I was making the album. It was
okay.
It's got a lot of personality. I think it's a really special guitar. It's plucky enough, and it has that kind of indie alt edge, which I think is really, really, really awesome. So I played my black Fender Jazzmaster. It's not the mega expensive version, but it's mine, and it's becoming, I'm sure when you tour with an instrument, you really get to know it, and you really get close. And so me and my black Jazzmaster have toured with Ellie Goulding and survived, and we're both in one piece, which is really good. And so I really. Yeah, my Jazzmaster is one of my best friends.
Now, I play ukulele, and so does the editor of Rocket Night, and she basically started a ukulele club for this particular area that we live in Florida, and we saw some pictures of you playing the ukulele too. And what kind do you prefer to play? Like what size and what make?
Well, this is a good one because I know way too much about it. When I played in the bars, or my restaurant days, I played a calla. It wasn't a soprano. It was
concert.
I can't remember it.
Was it the concert or the tenor?
It was a concert. It was a concert, and it was a calla, and it was electric acoustic. But I loved that one for playing because it was very as durable as a ukulele can be,
Right.
But I loved playing that. But my real love, my first ukulele love was a soprano calla that I got for Christmas. I seem to get a lot of my instruments for Christmas, but it was probably like $30 and came with a little backpack, and it's just so delightfully tinny, and it's incredible. I think, and it's so tiny and adorable. So that's my real ukulele love.
I like them especially because they're portable and they're just so easy to carry around and break into song anywhere pretty much.
So true.
Yep. And now let's go back to Long Island. What is the first thing you like to do when you go back home?
Oh, well, actually, I have a plan. My brother is actually living with me in Berlin for a little while, which is so fun. But when the second I land on my flight, I'm going to call up my brother, be like, I landed, prepare, and he's going to. We figured out how to plug the computer into the TV.
Right.
So we're going to binge watch Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and eat popcorn for the entire day, I think. That's our
now, this is one of the things I was curious about, and it looked like you could have gone anywhere in the world pretty much. A girl with a guitar that already knew how to make a living and was very self-sufficient, but yet you chose Berlin. Why did you choose Berlin? Was there a connection there for you?
Well, to be honest, the world was very open. Of course, I had no idea, but at the time, I was approached after one of my restaurant shows by a man in the Hamptons who knew Toby Kuhn out of Berlin. And so Toby really brought me to Berlin, which was, I mean, I haven't looked back. I fell in love with the city, and it was Toby Kuhn that brought me to Berlin. But I think it's becoming, it just made more sense for me to settle there. You know, after a while, I was going back and forth, but then I was like, you know what, let's start a life in Berlin. And it's turned out to be really fun. I've met some of the greatest people I've ever known. I think it's a city on the verge of something is something that I've said before, but you can feel it in the street. You know, it's the history and the newness. There's something going on in that city. There's something in the air, I guess. But
so do you think the music and the art scene is kind of exploding there simply because, you know, the wall is down and there's just a fresh outlook and new attitudes? Do you think that is probably part of the catalyst for all the newness in the city?
Yes. I think it's rebuilding. It's restructuring. It's not, it's still finding itself, I guess. You know, because there's so many young people and there's so much. I mean, of course, there's the 24-hour party scene, which also helps with bringing in the fringy people, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, it's really an incredible place. I recommend everyone get over there when they have the chance, because it's got equal parts history and the future. You know, if that makes sense.
Right. But, Now, one of the things that I noticed, I listened to a lot of cuts probably over the past 2 weeks of your music. Some of the ones that were really stand out for me were From the Other Side of the World, 2 Feet Off the Ground, Stranger in a Room, Monster, Leave Me Home. And I could hear the ukulele on satellite. There was a ukulele in there, am I right?
Oh, you caught it. You know, I was.
Yeah, I did. I caught it.
It's layered in the pre-chorus. Very, very good ear. I played that. Oh my goodness! Wow, I'm gonna have to telephone high five you for that.
And one of the thank you. One of the nice things I liked about the music was the fact that, in spite of it being recorded in a studio, it has just this most amazing kind of like stripped down, kind of unplugged feel. Even though there's electronics being used, it's just I would call it kind of a cross between pop and rock, and very unplugged, even though there's synthesize in there. So a real difference. Yeah, it was just like a real difference in the whole music that you're doing compared to what you're going to hear on the radio.
That was what Toby and I really, really wanted to make. We wanted to create a world that was, I suppose, complemented the rawness of the lyric. You know, I genuinely put my entire heart and soul into these words, and I think he saw that and wanted to make this. It's real, but it's also poppy, and it's raw. And we did a lot of acoustic instruments playing the parts of, you know, what traditionally electronic instruments play, which I think, honestly, Toby is brilliant. I'm so happy that we could create this world together. Thank you so much.
No,
That's exactly what you're going for.
I really like, I don't know, personally, I really like independent artists that are doing things and creating a niche that, you know, other people aren't doing. And I found that through the music that you're doing, the fact that it's, you know, it's got that unplugged feel where you just want to sit and listen. And I find that the lyrics that you're writing have a lot of deep insight for someone as young as you are. You seem to have a great understanding, and that's miraculous too. So that may be a little bit how can I say, new agey kind of thing, but that's how I heard the music, and I loved it. Now, who do you consider your audience, and what messages do you want to convey through the music that you're writing and performing?
This, to be really real, I think I don't know who my audience is. I hope it's humans on the earth. I mean, I don't really think about those things. I think ultimately what I mean, I moved to Berlin, and it was a tidal wave of things. You know, it was all these exciting new ideas and feelings, but it was also really, really scary, and I felt very alone a lot of times. And there was, you know, nights where I was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? But this music kind of kept me going, and I really hope that when people hear it, they also feel less alone. You know, like I put all of what I went through. I learned probably too much about myself during that time, but I put it right back in, and I've never felt so alone, but I've never felt so connected to something, and I hope that is what I can. I hope that is a feeling that I can share with what I have made. Yeah, and
marvelous.
Maybe that's a universal feeling.
Right.
Yeah, I know it's definitely present in, you know, people that are my age, you know, people that are going to college. You know, you don't have to move to Berlin to have these feelings. You know, you can move one city over and also have no, you know, be scared with what you're doing with your life and whatnot. But I could ramble for a while. But taking
the risks and taking the chances, which, you know, as an artist always helps us grow. When we're doing that, you know.
Exactly, and I think, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but when it works, it's so cool and so exciting, and it's, I don't know. People would have fun.
Let me ask you 3 really quick questions because we're running out of time. What is one thing that you could get at home that you couldn't find in Berlin and it drove you kind of crazy?
I have a devastating sweet tooth. It's really, really an issue. But there's a candy in the States called Swedish Fish. I don't know if you are familiar with this.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing gummy situation, but they do not have that in Berlin, which is maybe a good thing. but I definitely stock up when I'm in the States. So I have some in my suitcase now. I'm ready. That's going to be a part of my Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt Day is Swedish Fish.
I used to sell candy at a candy store many, many, many years ago, so very familiar with Swedish Fish, and I really liked the Swedish raspberry blackberries too. Those were really good.
Oh, we have similar taste.
Yeah, those were really, really good. And quick question. This is another one of the rapid fire questions. Are you currently in love or in lust?
In love or in lust? Is this like with life, or?
It could be with a partner. It could be with a friend. It could be with life. Yeah, either.
I am currently head over heels in love with the world and this journey that I get to go on right now. That is where my head's at right now. I'm just attempting to enjoy the little things. And, you know, like I'm standing outside in Maine and it's so beautiful and there's seagulls flying around. Oh, and someone dropped a French fry. Seagulls are eating French fry. You know, like this I'm in love with life and the world right now.
So you're in Portland, Maine tonight, and then in 2 nights you're going to be in D.C., and then you're going to be that very next night in New York City.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's kind of like a lot of traveling. This is the last question. Where do you envision yourself in 10 years?
I am so bad at this one. Well, a year ago I had no idea I'd be living in Berlin. So I hope happy somewhere, maybe warm, maybe with someone awesome, But I don't know. I really, honestly, have absolutely no idea. But I really hope that I'm happy. And yeah, because things are happening really quickly right now in my life, which is really, really awesome. But 10 years, yeah, I just hope I'm happy. That's what I'm hoping.
So you're out to conquer the world and taking it one day at a time, and that's just marvelous. And thank you so much for spending time with Rocket Night, and really looking forward to watching your career and seeing where it goes over the next months and years.
You're listening to Rock at Night.